Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to our third channel walk and talk video. Today I wanted to give you a brief update on my life because I am in the south of England. I am learning to drive here and I wanted to, I'll just say I'm in Poole. It's a city and I wanted to talk very briefly a little bit of a life update, but also talk about obligations as a whole because I am doing something really pretty cool actually. I'm rather than having to stress with like adding an hour on to every single day for several months to learn to drive like most people do. I'm doing something where I'm just taking a week off life and I'm taking 4 to 5 hours every single day for a week and I'm learning to drive that way. Why am I learning to drive? I don't intend to own a car or anything. Just, it's one of those things you have to do when you live in a society. You have to prove to the government that you've spent a sufficient amount on, driving that you can therefore get behind the vehicle of a car. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about obligations in their whole because I did take on a big obligation this week, which, even though it's, to me, it's a laid back week where I get to see a delightful new city, but it's not to everyone. And I want to talk about obligations because they have this weird duality of being some of the best things in life and some of the worst things in life, and yet they're things I cannot really handle or deal with. The water looks so fake. Maybe it's just like my eyes are broken, but it's like shimmering it's shimmering at a very strange angle. I don't fully understand. Also, there's clearly some teenagers over there making some fun noises. Let's hope that doesn't interfere with this video. Anyway, speaking, this is one of those widespread things, but like, there's nothing that'll terrify you more than teenagers because they're entirely unpredictable and they just do dumb things, not even in their own interests, not even in, not in their interests, not in your interests, not in our interests, just because, it's scary stuff. And, having teenagers is the result of having children, which is one of the biggest obligations you could have. Perhaps we should talk about that. But more broadly, it's so weird to me when you go somewhere really picturesque and then like, people still have children. In fact, more people have children there because people who are starting to root down their life generally choose to do it somewhere that's pretty air quotes. And so, it's one of those things that ties the whole world together. You might think somewhere is perfect and is, a great place to live. And then you realize that they've got children there too. And you realize that everywhere is just equally terrible. So I want to talk about obligations today because I think commitment is maybe the better word for what I'm trying to describe. Because commitments are something, I think so many people spend a lot of their life, this is a very angry seagull, a lot of people spend a lot of their life being very terrified of commitment. Some people spend their life being the opposite, being too into commitment, there's the stereotype of the guy who's like always jumping between very, very serious relationships, or there's people who can only continuously do extreme work all the time. Without that work, they are nothing, right? And so there's all these stereotypes, people who are very terrified of commitment or very much too into commitment. And it's one of our very core things as humans. But it's something I wanted to talk about today because I think that there is this duality of it that makes it so strange for me to think about or deal with. So in case you're curious what I'm actually saying there, because I feel like I'm not saying it very well, let me try again and say that I think that people tend to pick up commitments as they go through life. Some of the best things you can do is making a big commitment to something, whether that's a thing, a person, a concept, in the form of like religion or science or indeed politics, as some people do. Some people love to pick up these big commitments to things that they like. Oh, it's so shallow. I could like jump in that and I wouldn't even drown. So picking up these commitments can make things a lot better. Like, to give an example, I really like traveling. It's one of my favorite hobbies, but I like traveling when I've got a reason to be somewhere. I really like traveling, for instance, I found it so cool to hop on the train from Waterloo to Poole today, seeing a bunch of places along the way I'd never seen, Winchester, Bournemouth, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a cool journey, I'm glad I did. And it's weird because without the commitment, it would theoretically be better. I always feel this way about business travelers. People who travel for business tend to start to hate travel very quickly because they're like, ugh, I've got to be on back, I've got to be in the flight home in 24 hours, got to be at the business meeting. Like having something coming up ahead is the most terrifying thing, but it's also the thing that keeps you doing things. In the same way, I would have never just decided if I took this week off without the driving lessons to be like, yeah, let's hop on a train to Poole. Let's buy a hotel there. You know, let's book an Airbnb. Let's be a Poolean for a week. You know, Poolean doesn't sound right. It sounds like you're trying to say Liverpoolian. But no, you know, no one would say that. I mean, there's lots of good reasons why they don't say that. But it's interesting, right, that people would not say that precise thing. And either would I. Something about the commitment of what is going on here. Something about the commitment of like having a thing you know, planned, something that I have to do. I book, you know, not only do I have the social obligation to like the guy who is letting me drive around his car while I learn how all of this stuff works, and you know, like, again, get up to test standard, have to tell the instructor how you check the oil on your vehicle, all these dumb things. Anyway, so I had an obligation, but also I'd spent some money, not only on the hotel booking and the whatnot, but also I'd given him money because you have to pre-book lessons, as it turns out. So, you know, like, these obligations of money, time, and basically everything, every resource that you value in life, you have to throw towards things that you're committing to. And it's interesting because you know, this is just seagull video. Do you want to see some seagulls? I hope I see some geese today. I have not seen geese in far too long. Anyway, speaking of things I haven't seen in far too long, so something that's interesting to me is that on paper, a commitment is the worst thing you can do in your life. It is just forcing yourself to do something in the future. If you want to do something in the future, just do that thing in the future. You know, what I really want to do is I want to you know, tomorrow I want to get myself some ice cream. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where if I don't get ice cream tomorrow, I am ruining my day. You know, I'm ruining you know, I'm losing a lot of money, a lot of time. You know, I don't know, I'm hurting my long-term you know, goals because I didn't get ice cream tomorrow. What's another example? I really want to watch a movie. I forget what it's called. I think it's the one that's based on a TV show, The Sopranos, I want to say, but it's this child or something. It's not a very good movie, but that's why I want to watch it. Anyway, so like there's a new movie out, The Many Saints of Newark. I want to watch that movie. I think I'm gonna find some time later this week in the evening to watch it. I think I want to play through Prey. Prey is a game about aliens. It's on Games Pass. It came out literally a decade ago. I want to play that game, but why would I put myself in a situation where I deliberately lose out? You know, seriously, if I don't. And that's how commitments have always seen so much of my life. Is like, it's just being dumb. You know what having a child is? Having a child is just saying, hey, I would like to have £250,000 less. I bet that doesn't even account for inflation, by the way. I bet it's actually you're giving up the better part of £1 million just to have a little squidgy being that resents you. You know, like getting married is just saying, oh, I would like to give myself issues in case this relationship ever breaks up. If the relationship doesn't ever break up, you shouldn't need the marriage in theory. And you know, given that statistically most relationships deteriorate you know, over some time frame, then there's another seagull here. Look how cute he is. Don't get hit by a bird. I mean a car. You know, he is the bird. He doesn't get hit by birds. Anyway, this is a pretty park car. Yeah, there's I had to drive around this park for my driving test. Do you want me to give you a recap on it? Commitments seem incredibly dumb, but also there's this in the same way that eating food seems dumb when you break it down to its component parts. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna shove like objects in between my teeth, and then I'm gonna go like this a whole bunch, nom 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 nom, and I'm gonna pay someone money, sometimes a lot of money, sometimes a little bit of money. It's all variable, and then the food's gonna be in my stomach, and it's gonna cause me a lifetime of potential issues. I mean, unhealthy food is that, right? Unhealthy food is entirely illogical when you break it down to the component bits, but also we do it anyway. And I feel like what commitment actually adds to your life is meaning, but also it maybe for some people it's what actually gets you to do things. Like, again, I wouldn't have come down here to Poole, something which is bringing me some enjoyment, if I hadn't previously committed to doing so. I would have never you know, pulled out my camera and decided to talk about some of my things that are helping me process my views on commitment had I not committed to making at least one third channel while I was down here, third channel video while I was down here. Because I like having as many backgrounds as possible for these videos. Makes me look very international. I mean, not international. Again, I can't leave the country right now because of asinine rules about the concept of double vaccinated. It should be fully vaccinated, not double vaccinated, you damn mad at the NHS system forever. Anyway, I've been trying to call them every day and be like, please, you gotta understand, it's one vaccine, I cannot get a second. Or if you want to give me a second vaccine, put it in my arm. But they will not, and so as a result, I'm still single vaccinated by UK standards, and they won't even give me a second one. Anyway, so let's write about that in every video until it gets fixed, shall I? But yeah, no, commitment adds like a level of meaning that I can't fully describe. And I feel like that's the only reason I can possibly imagine people have children, right? Because it's such an objectively terrible decision, right? Like, just rent a child if it's that fulfilling an experience to like play football with one or whatever it is that you're doing with your offspring. You know, like it's gonna be cheaper in the long run. In fact, you know, even if it costs like 10 grand a day to rent a child, and how many days do you think you'll want to, you know, like have fun with a child before you're like, actually this isn't fun, actually I just like that I'm, you know, like bringing this again, that is where that meaning is. And so yeah, been thinking about it a lot, that this channel is kind of my baby, because already maybe that yeah, I think especially the second and the third channel, it kind of is my baby. I'm so excited whenever anything happens. I'm so excited to like share things, and even when I'm really not feeling it, I'm like, yeah, but you know, I want to feel it, because then this channel will be better. And oh god, I can't see anything. Can you see anything? Let's see if you, oh, you can see everything so vibrantly. And so yeah, I decided to make a third channel video today, solely to talk about meaning and the complexities behind it. And since now we're 12 minutes in, we've spoken about a real topic that can go in the title. Let's give you a life update, huh? Small life update. Just a little bit of one here. Small life update is that I am in the midst of doing some arbitrary thing in the UK so that I can drive a vehicle, mostly in North America, right? Like cross, you know, the United States. Maybe one day I've had this video idea forever, because I want to bike from, no, I don't want to spoil it because it's for this channel, damn it. I want to bike from London to Edmonton, but then I want to drive from London to Edmonton. You know, it'll all make sense one day. But I've got lots of dumb ideas in my life. I just like, you know, living in Vegas was great, but I literally can't live in Vegas without driving everywhere. I want to give that a try afterwards. There's a lot of things in life that I need to, like, and yeah, my point here is making commitments, doing some things that are painful, and in the moment it totally is like, oh my god, you know, like there are lots of moments where I'm just like, I just want to give up this for a bit. But having something that makes you not want to give up is why meaning is important. Because if you follow your moment-to-moment decisions on something, you're going to make some bad decisions soon enough. But when you have this deeper meaning, this thing to follow, even if you don't understand fully what it is or any of the real details, having something to follow tends to help people somewhat. It tends to give you that thing at the end there. And my thing at the end here, as I run across the road, my thing at the end right here is that I like seeing, it's so interesting to see the size of, you know, I felt like the one interesting thing about London is houses don't really get that much bigger or smaller. Like, you get slightly bigger and slightly smaller. Do I cross? I guess I cross. But here you just have like giant Megatron houses. And I know why I find that interesting. I bet I shouldn't. So yeah, life update. Driving's going well so far. Day one. It's 5 more days of lessons. This is like a, this week I worked it out, because it's like 34 hours I'm doing of driving this week, and that's in addition to like going places, taking little breaks throughout the day to get some lunch or whatever. My full-time job this week is learning to drive. And maybe this is weird. Maybe this is my like broken brain ultimately. But something I think about that is that honestly 34 hours isn't that many hours in a week. I know this is, whenever I say stuff like this, people are like, oh well, you got to understand it's different when you hate something. But I just like, sometimes I'm like, man, life'd be pretty chill if it was just like, you know, what is it, like 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, 6.5 hours a day, 6 days a week, and then the rest of the time is yours. Whereas, so, you know, like I feel like because of this weird obligation I have to the internet, it's like I want to either put in like the max, and sometimes the max is only probably 36 hours or 6.5 hours a day for 6 hours a week. But sometimes it's like I want to go up to the maximum I bought it. You know, this Saturday's gonna be very busy work-wise. Probably this Sunday too, if I'm being entirely honest. And so, yeah, it is so very interesting. Speaking of things that are interesting, you have to stop watching this video now, because I'm gonna go get some food. I want some fish and chips. I'm by the coast. They must have some good fish and chips. That is the only logic I can believe is correct. And so yeah, if you want to feed me fish and chips, make sure to like, favorite, subscribe. Hope you will enjoy this video. Third channel, don't care. Goodbye.